the hottest comic books in the world. The big keys, they're too expensive. There's no way anyone could afford these.
I hear you, Tom, but according to these sales, that might not be true.
Another week, another list. Comic Butch in the house, Gem Mint on the line, and we're talking about the comic books defining this generation of collectors.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe to the channel. We're here for you every week, counting down the hottest comic books in the comic book market. And coming in at number 10 is Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, issue 1, their first appearance, and a book that finally started getting its just due when Disney got the rights back from Fox.
Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, debuting in 1961, the first appearance of the FF, a landmark issue that would begin the Marvel age of comics. And we do have record breakers on the first print. But Jem, last week, we were talking about the golden record reprint of ASM #1, and that there was spec potential on reprint comic books. Why don't we prove that right with the FF record reprint?
Just to put it in perspective, that ASM1 Golden Records reprint, a CGC 5.5, sold for $554 back in 2019. Its most recent sale puts it up 127%, selling for $1,260.
Now, this is definitely a reprint. Came out after the first print, doesn't have a price tag on it, and was accompanied by a record that you can play along with reading the book. And I suspect because members have long given up being able to secure a first print copy of a blue chip book that skyrocketed in price over the last couple years, this is the next best thing. So naturally, let's look at the FF1 reprint first.
And even though this book did come out after the original one, it only came out 5 years later. I mean, it's still a Silver Age book, and a CGC 4.0 just hit market. It last sold in 2018 for $265. It's up now 145% with its new sale of $650.
The 8.5 went for $1,400 back in March. That's up 7%, hitting the $1,500 marker. Now let's move over and look at the first printing. The major blue chip book, a 2.0, 2 weeks ago, went for $16,600. That's up 19%, selling for $19,750 this past week.
The book that's making the Golden Records reprint sell as aggressively as it is. The CGC 3.5 sold for $27,600 back in October, and it's up 22%, now selling for $33,600.
We know that the Illuminati is inbound for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Imagine if we get a cameo, a hint at the first Marvel family. Possibly Reed Richards. We've heard that rumor for quite some time. I think there is opportunity, vast opportunity for these early reprints. What do you think, Jem?
I've always been a big proponent for the next best thing. Ride that wave, man. Get them GRRs.
Now, if you enjoy the content and want to support this channel, join the Mystery Mail Call, the comic book subscription service where we send you comics every single month. 1 per box. We have an issue of Boys #7. Yes, we took back to print the original run featuring the first appearance of Stormfront in comics with a Starlight cover by horror legend artist Ben Templesmith. 1 per box, ComicTom101.com to join. And at the list at number 9, more spec that we told you could climb up, and it did this week. Incredible Hulk issue #6.
Yeah, this is one of those books that we were just talking about a few weeks ago when a CGC 8.0 came to market. It last sold for $2,800 in November, and its most recent sale put it up 136%, selling for $6,600. It's the last issue of the initial Hulk run. The book got canceled after that.
That's right. It would take till after his appearances in Tales to Astonish to become so popular enough to hold his own in his own solo run. We have a 2.0 of issue #6 going for $300 in 2020, up 44%, now selling for $432. The 5.5 going for $1,263 in August is up 35%, now selling for $1,700.
We like to call it the trickle-down effect. The CGC 6.5 sold for $1,800 back in July, and now it's up 19%, selling for $2,150.
We told the community to really consider these early Hulk issues. I'm talking issues 3, 4, 5, and 6. Number 6 not only spiked weeks ago, but it spiked again this week, and we'll just prove it even more with another sale. Let's get issue #3 on the board. We have the 3rd appearance of the Hulk, the 2nd appearance of the Circus of Crime, and a 3.5 that sold this week and broke records.
The last record-breaking sale was in February when it sold for $1,380. It's up 30%, now selling for $1,800.
Seeing records like this on books that have moved up in the marketplace in as little as 6 months shows that there's opportunities beyond the giant sales that are happening. The major market leaders, look for the things that people haven't spec'd on yet. There's still opportunity for everyone. Next at the list at number 8, Fantastic Four, number 5.
That's right, FF back on the list, baby, but this time the first appearance of Doctor Doom. We know he's coming and collectors are gearing up.
Speculation hinted that he may make an appearance or a cameo or at least be mentioned as early as the next Black Panther movie. But imagine what'll happen if we see the first Marvel family or even just one member in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. It's going to move the major villain for that team way up in numbers, just like it did this last month. Look at this. April 9th, we had a 6.0 sale, an increase of 26% that occurred just a week after a sale. That's right, we had a $22,800 sale early April, and a week later, a $28,800 sale for the same book in the same grade, and it didn't stop there. Days before that record breaker, on April 7th, we had a 9.2 that sold. Prior record was back in November last year for $117,000. That's up 28%, selling for $150,150. Like the trickle effect we just reported on for the last book, we're seeing more record breakers this past week.
Definitely some big boy sales, but we got some lower grade sales too. A 3.0 sold for $9,300 back in November. It's up 18%, now selling for $11K. Then the 5.0 sold for $18,000 back in October. That's up 6%, selling for $18,999.
And now we're moving over on the list at number 7 with the first appearance of Miles Morales in Ultimate Fallout issue number 4, debuting in 2011. The first modern blue chip key.
Pre-pandemic, we've had rumors that Miles was going to make his way to the MCU, even as far as rumored to be cast already. We have a lot of different sales to report on. We're going to start with the second printing variants. The Pacelli variant in a CGC 6.0 sold for $100 back in 2021. It's up 23%, now selling for $123. Then we have the Bagley variant in a 7.0, which sold for $119 just a few days ago. It's up 26%, now selling for $150.
Second printings, although lower grade, being able to be secured for under $200 when this is one of the most expensive cover A's and incentive variants in the modern age seems like some potential to me. Look at the 1 in 25 Djevic variant, a 9.2 back in 2021 went for $4,950. This week, we are up 11%, breaking the 5K marker, selling for $5,505. Hot damn.
This book is hot in all grades and all covers. The regular cover CGC 9.0 sold for $993 in 2021. It broke the $1,000 mark here, up 8%, selling for $1,075.
Comic fam, I'm telling you, you got to keep an eye out on these second printings, specifically the Bagley second printing where Miles Morales' face is revealed, unlike the cover A first print, which was released initially in polybag. Next at the list at number 6, getting ready for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I suspect, in under a week. Will the spec pay off? We have Doctor Strange issue number 1.
Officially his first solo titled series, not that renumbering from Strange Tales, and we have a steal of a record to report on here. A Mark Jewelers CGC 7.5 sold for $269. Now there's no previous data, but that's the same price that a standard version goes for.
Absolutely right, Jim. That is a steal. That Mark Jewelers should have commanded a premium, and because someone listed it as a buy it now, a member got a steal because they were watching out for those inserts. Look at the 6.5. We have a standard copy back in February going for $184. That's up 43% this week, selling for $264.
And then we have the CGC 9.6. It sold for $1,200 just last week. It's up 8%, now selling for $1,295.
Now at the list at number 5, we have Fantastic Four Annual number 2, The Origin of Doctor Doom, The Battle of Doctor Doom, and Rama Tut, who's also Kang. I digress, because this is a tough book to secure in high grade.
You see what collectors are doing, right? The first appearance, then to the origin, classic covers. We know Doom is coming. You got to scoop up all those key issues now. And we have another steal of a record breaker here. A Canadian price variant, a CGC 4.5, sold for $528 back in June. It's up 37%, now selling for $721.
The Canadian price variant should command more of a premium. But look at this. The beginning of April, someone bought a direct market copy, 4.5, for $611, just shy of $100 less than what that Canadian price variant went for. I see that as a major win.
Yeah, they got a good deal on that Canadian price variant, but let's talk about that direct market edition. The CGC 2.0 sold for $200 just 2 years ago. It's up 25%, now selling for $250. And then we got the 7.5, which sold for $1,875 back in January. It's up 13%, now selling for $2,120.
The 8.0 going for $2,600 back in 2021 is up 7% this week, now selling for $2,789. We gave you a spec on the Hulk that you could have won on. Keep an eye out for Mark Jeweler variants. We've recommended second printings this very video, and now we have Canadian price variants we're reminding you about. Hit that like button, comic fan. We're keeping you up on this marketplace. Moving over to number 4 on the list, Strange Tales 126.
The first appearance of Dormammu, who we've seen in the first movie, but also the first appearance of Clea, who we have not yet seen and has been rumored to show up in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which you may have already seen by the time you've watched this video. So you know these strange keys are going to be on the list, with the CGC 3.5 kicking it off. It sold for $295 back in November. It's up 29%, now selling for $382.
I'm still crossing my fingers that the rumors are correct that Clea will be portrayed by Charlize Theron. I digress. We have a 4.5 just last week going for $455, up 2%. Members grabbing the keys while they can before the movie lands with the all-new high of $465.
The CGC 7.5 sold for $1,200 back in March. That's up 38%, now selling for $1,650. And then we have the 9.0, selling for $1,620 last year, up 77%, now selling for $2,875.
Now, considering that we are seeing Easter eggs on Disney+, this last trailer for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness completely changes everything. Because when we saw in the void a statue of the Living Tribunal, a lot of members thought that this was just fan service until the trailer.
Man, that's why I say you got to trust in Feige to see what looks like the Living Tribunal in that final trailer. I'm super excited, and so are a lot of collectors, because number 3 on the list, we have Strange Tales 157, the first cameo appearance of the Living Tribunal.
Steranko goodness, comic fam. This right here means that all the Easter eggs that have shown up in Disney Plus are now fair game to have some serious spec potential happen. We have a 4.5 back in 2020 going for $51, up 65%, going for $84 this week. The 6.5 back in January went for $145, up 3%, going for $149 this week. The 7.5 going for $230 in September is up 9%, going for $250. And the 8.0 back in September going for $310, up 21%. Now hitting $375, and Gem, it didn't stop there.
It sure did not. We had the cameo appearance, but let's highlight the first full appearance. The next issue, Strange Tales 158 and a 4.5, went for $215 back in March. It's up 5%, now selling for $225. Then the 6.5, which sold for $450 in October, sold again for $456, bumping it up just 1%. And then lastly, the CGC 8.5 sold for $801 back in July, up 6%, selling just $1 short of $850.
We see an 800% increase in copies sold for issue 157, the first cameo appearance of the Living Tribunal. And considering a lot of members believe this to just be fan service, this is great opportunity for everyone to have a new view on these Easter eggs. What could be taken from the background? The stones in one random scene. Throg anyone? These books spike because of the show, but then kind of peter off because there's other more confirmed spec taking place. This book making our list this week proves that everything, the slate is wide open for the comic fam still.
Yeah, that's right. We saw what looked like a stone statue of the Living Tribunal during one of the episodes of Loki. So could other things come back to play on a larger scale.
Some major spec room. Make sure to download Key Collector Comics, the best comic app in existence. Use code TOM101 to unlock a free 2-week subscription. Get access to this list where we source all of our data from prior to the video even being released. And I encourage the community to check out the category 5 Undervalued, because this book is definitely one of them. We have Tales of Suspense, issue number 77, a book that no one was specking on, the first appearance of Peggy Carter.
Collectors are speculating that it's Peggy Carter catching the shield from America Chavez in that final trailer, and Marvel has been doing a really good job of keeping their characters alive. Sure, Peggy Carter's had her own series, but then they brought her back for What If. She's in that poster for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and we have Cap 4 coming soon.
With Captain America 4 inbound, anything can happen. And look at this 9.6 record breaker set in July 2021, hitting $1,250. That price seems super low, especially considering the comic boom that we were in during that time. And the last 9.6 in 2014 had hit $1,100. The book barely moved.
And she had her own series, and she was featured as Captain Carter in What If. So that is strange. Let's take a look at these recent sales though. A CGC 5.5 sold for $171 back in August. It's up 23%, now selling for $210. Then we have the 6.0, which sold for $155 in October, begging for price correction. Now it's up 158%, selling for $400. But that's not all. The big boy 7.0 on the list sold for $250 back in November. It's up 200%. It just sold for $750.
Recent 9.2 sales and lower are hitting under $1,000. This right here is prime opportunity for a book that is on its way up. At the list at number 1, hit the like, slap the subscribe, and Jem, hit him with the hottest book in the cosmos that has nothing to do with Doctor Strange.
Nothing to do with Doctor Strange. It feels like it's got more to do with Miles Morales. Number 1 on the list is Edge of the Spider-Verse 2, the first appearance of Gwen Stacy as Spider-Woman, or what she has come to be known as Spider-Gwen.
With Miles Morales leading the charge with the most sought-after modern blue-chip books, what's next? And I think it is very clear that is Spider-Gwen. And we already reminded them about the second printings, so let's do the same with the number 1 book on our list this week. With the third printing, a 9.2 going for $120 in 2021 is up 13%, now selling for $135. The 9.6 going for $180 in August is up 17%, now selling for $210.
And before we get into the Greg Land variant, which is what propelled the book to be on this list, let's talk about that cover A. A CGC 7.0 sold for $220 back in 2020. It's up 135%, now selling for $516. And then the 9.4, the cover A, sold for $750 back in August. It's up 7%, now selling for $800.
The most sought after variant for this book is the Greg Land variant, and the 9.8 record leader is still $11,250, but something major took place this past week. We had the second highest sale publicly recorded. A 9.8 hit $10,500.
Staying in that 5-figure range, and you know the trickle-down effect's going to be real if it hasn't already occurred. A CGC 9.2 sold for $1,300 back in 2020. Its most recent sale puts it up 96%, selling for $2,550. And then the 9.6, it sold for $4,995 back in January. It's holding steady, staying the same, selling for $5,000.
Hot damn, comic fam, what a day. So many books that have potential. I gotta know your thoughts in the comment section below. It'll enter you to win this Whatnot variant of Omni-Man on Invincible number 1. We're shooting for $5K. And as always,
geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
Comic fam, join myself and Gem Mint from Gem Mint Collectibles every single Wednesday on the best new place to buy and sell collectibles, Whatnot. Available for both Androids and iPhones. Dollar start auctions that last as little as 15 seconds long. We're there every single week bringing keys, exclusive drops, and a ton of giveaways. Take a look at these 2 other videos. We made them for you. Enjoy them and have a great week.